Okay, just to refresh my memory, what are we actually doing again? Hi, I'm Steve from 1233D. Today we're going to be talking about all of these goodies upon this table. This is the Two Trees 6050 CNC. This is one of their newer additions to the fleet. We also have the M1 Monster Vac. This again is for CNC use. This is available across the whole range of CNC machines. Without further ado, let's jump straight in. So the machine is a very nice machine, I have to say. I assembled the machine off camera as the instruction guide is very comprehensive and is online, readily available in PDF format. I didn't encounter any issues following the instructions to assemble the machine. It all went together beautifully. Now, a few things to note before we proceed. There are a few items that I have switched out prior to actually using the machine, because I have used the other spindle on the other machine, and if you haven't seen that video, please check out the link in the description. Go over and watch that one to see if that machine is going to be more suited to you. I will dive into the specs in a little bit more detail, but I can assure you this machine is very capable. The machine ships with the standard smaller spindle. As you can see, here is the spindle motor mount, here is the spindle, and here is the variable speed controller cable for said spindle. So basically what this spindle allows you to do is control the speed via the rotary knob. This spindle is limited to 12,000 RPM. I've used this spindle for a wide range of projects, and it is a very capable little air-cooled spindle, especially if you are just wanting to do V-carvings or 3D reliefs. Here's a piece of walnut that spindle did V-carve. No problem whatsoever. We will get a close-up of this so you can see the actual finished quality of it, but I can assure you that spindle is more than up to that job. But I wanted to push the limits of this machine and see what this machine was really capable of. So I installed the upgraded spindle. The actual spindle that we have fitted here is a 800 watt spindle capable of producing 30,000 RPM. Now, why? Because bigger is better, right? Not in all cases, that isn't strictly true. But we did want to test it and basically start and see how capable this machine was of milling aluminium. I very accurately milled a trench in some 2040 profile, and it milled it absolutely perfectly. It is literally bang within tolerance. I shall pull out the calipers. I milled a channel in this 10mm wide. My calipers are showing bang 10mm, but honestly across the whole cut it is well within 0.01 of a millimeter tolerance, which I find to be very acceptable for a machine of this price point and quality. So for those of you who are looking for a machine that's capable of more precise engineering parts, whether you're milling aluminium plates or whatever else, I can wholeheartedly assure you this machine will be up to the job. Now, before I go over all the accessories and whatever else, it's probably wise for me to give you some key specs. So the maximum claimed speed for this machine is, we've done the calculations on this because we changed it from millimeters per minute to millimeters per second because it's a little bit easier to represent seconds than minutes, is 83.3 millimeters per second, which is pretty darn quick. The spindle speed, as I've already mentioned, for the stock spindle that comes with this machine is 12,000 RPM. That is variable, so you can adjust that slower or faster, but the maximum speed is 12,000 RPM. We also have the upgraded spindle, which is available on the website. See the link in the description for this item. This is the 800 watt spindle, and basically what you get with this is a transformer power brick. You turn the power on, you then have to manually control the RPM via the dial on the actual front of the machine, and then you can power it on with the switch, which is there. There we go. That is currently on sale for £121. The overall cutting area of this machine is actually, clues in the name, 600 by 500, and then we have 100 millimeters cutting capability on the Z-axis. So basically the Z will move 100 millimeters. You also have some nice safety features, although I would never ever recommend you putting your hands anywhere near the cutting area while operating the machine. If for any instance you did, we have infrared safety mechanism. Basically what happens is, if anything passes through the front of the machine while the machine is operating, you break the beam, the machine will pause and tell you the cutting area has been violated. So it'll stop, it'll warn you, you can resume, or you can clear the obstacle and then resume when it's safe to do so. It's a nice little feature. You can turn this on or off. You don't have to leave it on if you don't want it on, but I would recommend leaving it on for safety purposes. You also have, for an add-on, you can take off the actual router mounting and you can replace that with a 20-watt laser. So you can also laser engrave with this machine as well. So you can CNC your parts out and then go back over them and laser engrave them. That also is available on the website. Again, we will leave a link to that in the description, so you can check that out if you want to have a look at that. Next up, you can also get for this machine a 4th axis rotary modular unit. So what this allows you to do is basically turn your CNC machine into a CNC wood turning or metal turning lathe. This would allow you to basically carve cylindrical objects. They don't have to be true cylindrical. They can basically be any type of shape you really want. I haven't yet played with that. That will be something that we will revisit in the future. So be sure to like, subscribe, so you don't miss out on that video. The link for that module will be in the description, so please check it out. We also have a 3.5-inch touchscreen display, which I'll show you in a minute when we turn it on. Other benefits from the machine. When I was assembling the machine, I was gobsmacked to the actual hardware components that the machine is made with, and it gave me real confidence to basically see what is under the bones of this machine, because I can assure you it is industrial grade quality. You have got huge NEMA 23 stepper motors on all axes. You have got huge ball screws on all axes. You have also got everything driven on decent high quality linear rails on all axes. They haven't skimped on any of them. So literally on the X, Y and Z, they're all ball screw driven with linear rails. This makes for a very solid and fast moving, precise mechanical motion system. It is really nice. Then to top it all off, you've got these really nice big thick plates, and I shall give you the exact measurements for the gantry plates. So there we have 12 millimeters of a solid aluminium, which is very beefy. I have cut all kinds with this and I have seen zero flex. Honestly, this machine has a drive system that is second to none. It is really solid and reliable. We also have a sacrificial MDF top, which can be replaced. If you wanted to replace this, just make a pattern of your actual pieces, bore in your holes and whatever else, and if you did cut into this top, you can simply unscrew the sections that you want to replace and replace them with new bits. It is sat with 15mm MDF readily available. That is something else. You also have a very nice dust guard across the front of the machine to stop the insides getting full of nasties, sawdust, metal chippings, swarf, all of that stuff that you don't really want on your drive train. The sides are also covered, so there's no risk of anything dropping in there, filling up. You've also got these nice little red plastic side guards. They catch a certain amount of stuff, not all of it, but again, it's a nice touch. They thought about it, you know, try and contain as much in the cutting area as possible. Stay showering sawdust and swarf and bits of plastic everywhere. Towards the rear of the machine, you've got a really nice heavy-duty cable chain that nicely routes across the back of the gantry, and it is a heavy piece of kit. The other thing that Two Trees have done, which is handy in certain instances, is given all the axes manual jog wheels. So with the machine powered off, you can literally move any axis that you want with the little rotary knob. So it just allows you to basically fine-tune, set your home position without going through the task of jogging through the controller. So it's a nice touch. I find it's quite handy for like dialing in quite fine increments. You can get it to exactly where you want once you've got your stock set up on the machine. It's very easy to set the origin point, make any fine adjustments with them perfectly. Now, with the actual machine, you get the standard motor mount, but you also get the upgrade motor mount in the box, which is in the same colour theme as the accent pieces on the CNC machine. With the actual router upgrade, you get spare carbon brushes, because as well, you know, these do wear out over time. Very simple to change, unscrew the screws, pop them out, pop in the new ones, and you're good to go. And you also get this router mount, which will also fit, but that one for me is beautiful. It is one piece, whereas this is two pieces. That is a big solid thing, and you've got a nice aluminium shim in there as well to take up any slack, and it works faultlessly. What else can I say? We have some rather nice clamps. These basically slide into the pre-installed T-track, slide them around whichever way you want, and they are basically really solid, nice clamps. I get a piece of wood. So here I have a bit of England's finest oak. Solid! It is locked in nicely. Really simple to use. Gives you a lot of scope for clamping down numerous workpieces. They're a good solid aluminium construction. I've used them numerous times, and they are very good and reliable. So that's another nice touch that Two Trees have added to this machine. Next on, I shall move over to the control box. So on some of the other Two Trees machines, you will have seen we had like the control box situated on the touchscreen on the actual machine itself. Now, for those machines with smaller motors and everything else, that's absolutely fine. This has got big beastie motors on it, so we need a bigger, basically stepper drivers and all that stuff. And we want to keep it cool. Now, they've enclosed everything in this standalone control box, which has Wi-Fi, Ethernet, micro SD, everything you really need, all concealed in a very nice box. So I will power it up, and we have burst into life. As you can hear, the fan kicks in. So that's the fan built into the control box, making sure that all of the electronics that are inside here are kept cool, don't overheat, causing you problems in missteps, burning out components and whatever else, all that stuff you don't want to happen. The control box is really simple to use. On the top, emergency stop button, which is instant. Fire that back on. We also have, with the stock spindle, you have a spindle safety switch. So if you've locked the spindle, basically the spindle will not start moving, even if you run the program, until you've basically taken that switch off. Now, I've always been taught that whenever you're changing any cutters in any type of machinery, you unplug it, just to be safe, because the last thing you want is something firing up or accidentally pressing the power on switch while your fingers next to a very high speed spinning sharp implement. You wouldn't have many digits left. So that feature is there if you want it. Also, with the stock spindle, you do have this rotary knob, which basically allows you to manually change the RPM of the spindle. So basically, minimum is slow. Turn it up, you'll hear the motor speed increase until you hit maximum.
These go to 11.
That also is a nice feature, although some software will allow you to change that within the G-code. So if you keep it on maximum and limit it in the G-code, the spindle will spin slower. The UI. We have a couple of different things on the UI. So we've got speed. So if I click on speed, it basically scrolls through different speed settings. We can have it on full speed, half speed, or slow. That's one function. We have the spindle lock again. So you can, instead of pressing the button there, you can do it via the control panel. You also have the 4th axis button, and you have a millimeters increment button. If you tap on that one, you basically scroll through how much you're going to jog the machine. So you've got 1 millimeter, 10 millimeters, or 0.1 millimeters. You can then also set your Z height origin, so you can basically jog the machine up or down in those same amount of increments. So if we go over onto the next part, and we'll go into tools. So we've got home, which will basically hit the limit switch on all axes to home the machine. We have also got probe. So basically what probe allows you to do, and basically if we clip the crocodile clip onto our cutter and then place that probe on top of our stock, in this case the wasteboard, and then hit the probe button, the machine will basically go down until it touches. In fact, I'll do it. What I shall do, I will show you real time. Piece of timber. This is the material. So we want to basically set the Z0 for the height of our stock. So we grab the little probe, we pop that on top of our material, put the little metal pad under the cutter, and then we go to probe. So it's taking itself right to the top, and then it's going to slowly come back down until it touches the actual metal portion. It's basically using electrical current to complete a circuit. And obviously the machine firmware will know how thick the probe is and then deducts that. So it's now just touched, the little blue light flash, touched again, dropped up, done. Probe successful. Yes! So now basically that has now given us material thickness. So it'll know when you start the machine how thick your material is and where the 0 point is. The 0 point on CNC machines is the top surface of your stock, not the bottom. So I shall remove that. And again, you don't have to keep this plugged in. It literally plugs into the little control box on the back of the machine. You can keep it plugged in if you want to. Doesn't really make any difference. Other options, because you can get cooling for the machine, which mounts onto the side and plugs into the control box as well. So you can basically introduce air cooling. If you're cutting aluminium or whatever else and you want to blow that swarf away as you're cutting, keeping your bit cool, you can actually do that. And again, that item is available on the website. Please check out the link for that also in the description. So that is that menu. Then we have the file menu. So the file menu is basically where your cut files are stored. The machine requires you to use NC file format. The machine does run Gerbil firmware and it is compatible with ArtCam, Carveco Maker, Fusion 360, Easel, basically any other CAD-CAM packages that will allow you to generate NC format toolpaths. So that is the overall overview of the control box. I will turn it off because it is very, very and I will show you some other bits and pieces. The vac. So this is a handy addition. Basically the vac comes with an attachment that is for the stock spindle configuration. So if you've got the standard spindle, basically the spindle fits via the screws to the dust shoe. Your vac fits here. You have a little USB-C port on the actual attachment, which will allow you to use additional lighting and auto function. Now, the auto function is a little bit, I don't know, haven't quite figured it out yet. It sporadically comes on and off, so I don't know whether it detects when there's a certain amount of dust that needs the power to be turned on or not. If I'm running the machine using this spindle, I have it on continuous. It is held together with magnets. So if you do get a blockage in there, you need to clean it out. This part stays on your spindle. You can remove this part to clean it. You also get a longer brush attachment. So you pull that one off. You can push that one in. It's a nice snug fit so it won't just drop out. I'm not sure why you would need the longer one, but it's there if you do. And I shall plug it back in so I can show you. The vac has 2 power settings. That's 1. Press it again. That's 2. And then the little button to turn on your LEDs for extra light of your work area. Turn that off. It does come with a reusable dust bag, which has a nifty little zip. Basically, pop that back over, drop it back in the box, make sure it doesn't trap the wire, clip it back down, you're ready to go. All over again. Nice. Because anybody that's used to using CNCs will know these things create an awful lot of dust. We have done a few little projects with the machine. We did a few tests. I wanted to firstly see how accurate the machine would be. So I literally tried it on a few different materials. As I've already mentioned, I did trench out a 10mm channel in a piece of aluminium and it did that perfectly. I also cut out fully a hexagon out of a piece of 18mm MDF, which was modelled out in CAD to be exactly 173 from side to side. And I can tell you now, with the steel rule, it is bang on 173 across all of the different axes. So there's no discrepancies between X and Y or anything like that. We have also done a little relief carving on a piece of walnut with a V-carve bit. Turned out absolutely beautifully. And then I thought, well, I've got all these bits lying around. I don't know what to do with them. I modelled up something quite simply in Carveco. There's some little engravings on here. I'm not going to tip it all up because everything will just fall out everywhere. We'll get some close-ups. I did basically some V-carving in there to highlight what size bits are where, milled it all out, and as you can see, everything fitted perfectly. Just simple little things made with the machine. Probably worthwhile noting you do get a small selection of bits. I think you get 10 bits a selection of. You also get spanners for changing your bits. Both models of cutter, whether it be the stock one that comes with the machine or the upgrade one, both use ER11 collet. So they're quite a common collet size, and you can obviously change these out for all different diameters. I've got a selection because I'm going from literally 1/4 inch diameter right the way down to 1/8 of an inch and some random sizes in between. So you can get a whole selection of different size collets, so you can use loads of different types of cutter with the machine. You also get a short Ethernet cable if you want to connect it directly to your PC or your laptop. And pretty much that is it in summary. Overall, I was really blown away. I've looked at many CNC machines on a larger scale, i.e. this sort of size, over the years, and really, in my honest opinion, for anything on this sort of comparable price point wise, it would have to be like an Usnes Workbeat or whatever. But they have drawbacks. They are driven on V-wheels and lead screws. Some have belts, and really, for what you're actually paying, you'd have to spend a lot of money to upgrade it further to bring it up to the spec standard of this machine, which you can get everything in the box for under that price. The reliability and how solid the construction is, I'll tell you, this is a 2-man lift. You're not mauling this around unless you're the Hulk.
Hey, big guy.
It's very heavy, very solid, and I think really the only thing left to do is probably set up some material on it and let you guys watch it in action. So basically all I'm doing, getting my material clamped down in such a manner that I'm quietly confident won't interfere with my toolpath, i.e. the cutter isn't going to smash into my clamps. So now I shall just jog it to where I have set my 0 position. I shall turn up my speed. Now what I want to do next is I'm currently set 0, 0, 0. So if you want to get a close up here, use the code. It's showing my X, Y and Z are all set to 0, which is absolutely fantastic. But I don't want to start the spindle yet because it's on my material. So I've set it to 10mm. I'm going to move that up 10mm out of the way. So I now can turn on the spindle, select my file. Do I want a video? Yes. What you have just witnessed then was in real time. That wasn't speeded up, slowed down, or any camera magic did not occur. This is a decent piece of hardwood. It is oak, and there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to like, subscribe and share. If you have any questions regarding this machine or any of our other products, drop them in the comments below, or alternatively please email us at info@123-3d.co.uk. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now. We'll see you on the next one.
As always, we aim to have the most competitive 3D printer prices on the market. If you see any of our printers being sold by a mainstream retailer for less, please drop us an email using the link in the description and we'll do our very best to beat their price. Also, if you're watching from outside the UK, check the description for links to our European 123 3D sister stores.